I've got a great interview for you to watch if you're learning to code, coming up right now. Hey, welcome to another video. My name's Peter, and if it's your first time here, you want to learn to code, you want to stay motivated to reach that goal and change your life, then start now by subscribing and click that little bell icon so you don't miss anything. This is part 2 in a 3-part series of a great interview that I did with a fantastic coder named Juan Fabrega, who I met at a coding meetup recently. He was doing a presentation on Vue.js. If you missed part 1, it's going to be right here. And if you have seen that one, let's just jump right in and get right back into the conversation with Mr. Juan Fabrega. When you were getting started, was there a point where you had like an aha moment, where something kind of clicked, that you that you can remember, where you're like, oh, that's how that stupid thing worked? Where maybe you were having an issue with something, and do you remember anything like that? And if not, dude, I mean, I don't want you to feel on the spot, but
I mean, I've had a couple, I think. I've had a couple of things that have been difficult to overcome in terms of in terms of whether or not I understand really how they work. So I guess I have a couple of aha moments, not necessarily that I feel like, oh, now I'm a real programmer, because I still don't feel that way.
But I'll bet you there are people who've been programming professionally for 10 years who still don't feel that.
I hear a lot about that, absolutely.
Yeah.
Imposter syndrome is a big thing,
that's right.
in programming. So, but I think that I've had a couple. So I remember the first time I was able to solve for an algorithm using recursion, for example, and it took me a long time to understand recursion, and one day I just got it, and it was definitely an aha moment for me to understand recursion. It was just fantastic, and it felt really great. As far as JavaScript goes, I mean, there's some specific, I guess it depends on what you're doing, but I do pretty much exclusively JavaScript development, and there's a couple of things that have been I think difficult to wrap my head around. So, for example, callback logic, like callbacks, for the longest time, I could write the syntax and I could make them work based on, XYZ tutorial.
Right, but you didn't know how it worked.
But I just wasn't grasping it. And anyway, I had to work on this small Node application recently and do callbacks, and also I did a lot of promises as well. And anyway, doing promises helped me understand callbacks and vice versa. For some reason, I don't know if that's weird, but that was a big aha moment for me to really kind of get the logic behind the callbacks and understand how they work. And I think that actually the day that I got it was basically reading this big long article, which was an analogy and I don't know how callbacks work, which is, I don't know, for some reason it all clicked, but yeah.
Well, I think analogies are incredibly, just indispensable in my understanding of JavaScript and of all of them.
Yeah.
It's like, if you can go, well, just think of it like, whatever, that this is like a box, and then once you open the box, you can blah, 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 and then you can move the box, or whatever the silly little thing is. It's like, at least you can kind of concretely get your mind wrapped around kind of a real life kind of fakey version of it. So you go, oh, okay, so if you did like that, all right, yeah.
And what's funny is I've been using callbacks forever. I mean, they're there in pretty much any piece of JavaScript. You're right, they're all over the place. But so I knew how to write and I knew basically how to make them work for me. But logically speaking, it just wasn't all coming together for a long time, and it eventually did. And it was big.
Brother, I know your pain. I do. I've got some little sections of well, it doesn't really matter, but I think the main thing to say is that if you are having stumbling blocks that you just are kind of constantly beating your head against a brick wall with, just keep beating your head against a brick wall with it, and you will get it, And it's like you will. One day you'll just go, oh, okay, I was just watching some little silly tutorial the other day where the guy's like, okay, well, I can put it in here, or I can put it outside this function and like bring it in later. And then I'm like, oh, it would just, it'll be some moment somewhere where you're like, wow, why didn't I understand that? But it's really, especially as being a self-taught. And here's the thing, dude, even going to any official type of learning center. Still, they're not going to be able to just like mind meld with you to where you understand every little single thing, you know? And it's just sometimes you just feel like such an idiot for such a long time because you're like, why can't I get this one stupid thing, you know? But it's just because you haven't had it explained in a way that you can grasp it, you know? And that's just how it is. And so, I mean, that's why I like to talk about those aha moments, because it like makes people, it makes us feel like you're not alone.
Yeah.
You know, that you're not alone. That's half of the YouTube channel I'm doing right now is just, if you're learning coding, you're not alone, and it's okay to feel like an idiot.
Yeah.
You know, am I right?
Yeah.
It is true. All right. We've already kind of talked about how you were in already like a project manager in kind of a software system already. And so, and you kind of came around the back way as far as getting in and starting your own thing. But a lot of people who are going to be watching this are interested in just going like, well, is there really a chance for a self-taught developer to break into the market?
Yeah.
You know, I think I know that a ton of the people that are watching this are just like, is it real?
Yeah.
You know, is it actually real, or is it like another scam, like that other 10,000 scams I fell for, you know, in my younger life or something like that? You know, and because it's just a lot of times it just seems too good to be true.
Yeah.
And so, if you can maybe just kind of talk about that a little bit. Have you seen other self-taught developers getting in, making progress, and so forth? So just kind of, talk about self-taught developer is a real thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it definitely is a real thing. Scam is literally the last word I would use to describe. I mean, I would never use that word to describe self-taught development.
Right.
I worked in digital agency for 8 years. We had, at most points we had anywhere between 15 to 30 developers on staff. More than half of them were self-taught. Mm-hmm. So I don't think I ever sat in and I used to sit in technical interviews with the lead engineers. Sometimes they ask me to sit in the interviews just to get a feel for somebody's attitude or things like that. I don't think I ever looked at anybody's resume for looking for a school, right? I don't think that ever happened. I don't think anybody in my company did. I don't think the lead engineers did. I don't think the director of technology did. I don't think anybody did that. What would happen is you would ask them actual questions about programming. Right. You would look at their actual programming portfolio, and you would ask them to do an actual programming, like exam or exercise. Right. And that's it. There is on the results of those things, and you can hire somebody. Not because they went to XYZ school instead of computer science.
That's awesome.
So I would say, coming from that background, I was never discouraged about the idea that this was possible. I was discouraged at the idea that I could do it because it's just hard. Right.
It is hard, dude. It's hard. There's a big myth about like kind of the 3 month, you can get it done in 3 months. I'm not gonna maybe some people can, and maybe you can kind of get functional at 3 months, but it's just like, I'm more of a 6 month guy. If I'm honest about it,
I mean, you can get functional. I guess that's just a piece of advice I would tell people. Programming is ones and zeros, right? Right. But not learning. Learning programming is not. You don't go from a 0 to a 1 at one point. That's a good point. You don't cross a finish line at any point in your life and say, now I'm a programmer. Right. There's always a spectrum at which you're at. And at 3 months, you will have a certain skill set. And at 6 months, you'll have another different skill set, and so on and so forth. And some people learn faster than others. That's totally fine. So when you say, I'm a 3 month guy, I'm a 6 month guy, that means maybe some people are a little slower than others, but there's no 3 month guy, there's no 6 month guy, there's no two year guy, because that 2 year guy is still learning. When he gets to 4 year, his 2 year self kind of sucks.
That's right. That is right.
So I don't know. To me, I feel like just when you look at it that way, that's another roadblock, another mental roadblock. Tell yourself that you're not ready. That's really the way you look at it is, what am I ready for? You're not ready for everything at that point. You're ready for some things. You may not And I mean, I think a good way to look at it is like think about how much you're worth. You know, even at 3 months. Like, how much would somebody pay you at 3 months to build something for them? And what could you actually build for somebody at that point? If it's nothing, then well, yeah, maybe you still need some work. If it's something, then well, there you go. That's what you're worth at the moment, right?
Right.
So. And not to say that needs to be looked at from a monetary perspective, but I guess it's like a good benchmark to say, like, how much was somebody paying right now to build this, or what would somebody pay somebody at my skill set? You know, because the truth is, like, you're worth something as soon as you know something. It does, you know, maybe it's not a ton, but you're worth something, right? Because you know something that they don't, right? That, you know, even if it's basically HTML and CSS. So to me, it's just all about going through that spectrum and getting better as you go along, right? But not letting the fact that you were at the beginning of the spectrum tell you whether or not, you know, you need to already be working, right? Or be working on it, for real.
Do you think that you could kind of give a point where you would think, because you've been in a lot of those interviews where you're on the other side of it, you know, and you've seen a lot of it, and I'm talking now for, like, you know, entry level kind of thing. At what point do you think somebody's ready to start applying to jobs? I mean, if, you know, is it when, well, I don't want to put words into your mouth, but, you know, if you can do X, you're ready.
Yeah.
So what do you think that X is?
Yeah, well, first off, I think it's important to have a portfolio, even if it's a couple of projects. Have something you can point to. Right. You know, even if it's one project, it doesn't matter. But have something you can point to. If people say, "Hey, you know how to program," and you say yes, and then you have nothing to show,
and they're like, "Well,
that's a little rough."
Yeah.
Because I mean, at the end of the day, you're not going to go to somebody and be like, "Ask me anything about programming, and I'll answer it."
Right.
And people want to see what you did.
Right.
That's my point. At least I do. When I ask somebody if they know how to code, like, I want to see what you've done. So I would say build a portfolio first and foremost. And the easiest way to do that is to do tutorials, to do courses, especially the ones that focus on actually building small projects. And you don't even have to think about it. You don't have to get an idea. You don't have to think about it. Basically, all you have to do is follow the coursework, and at the end of it, you'll have something to show. Right? So I think that's important. Secondly, as far as applying, once you have that, once you have something to show, then
let me just interrupt you before you go on to applying.
Yeah, of course.
Do you think it's important to have unique projects?
No.
Do you know what I mean by that?
No,
that you have thought of on your own, or is going through, like, you know, I mean, there's so many great tutorials, you know, about, okay, well, we're gonna, you know, whatever it is. I don't even want to.
Yeah. No,
I don't want to make somebody feel bad by going like, well, I didn't get that far.
Well, I think let's just make one thing clear. Right? If you're just following a tutorial word for word, right, then you didn't really learn very much. Right. So I think, you know, there's definitely courses where you can get creative with project building, you know, which is just helpful. I don't think the projects have to be unique in the sense that it doesn't have to be an idea that you know, where you're an entrepreneur building a new product, for example. But it definitely has to be something that you wrote and that you know the inner workings of, that you can actually justify some of the choices, that you can talk to how you did certain things. It can't just be that you followed a tutorial because, you know, it just means...
Well, you could have just copied and pasted the whole code.
Right. So yeah, I don't think it has to be unique, but it definitely has to be built by you. You know, I think the classic example, the cliche, right, is build a to-do app. Like, everybody knows how to build a to-do app. Right. Like, that's the first thing on everybody's GitHub profile. Right. But I mean, yeah, it's fine. Build a to-do app, but build it yourself. Know how it works. You know, it helps if you do your own UI. It shows that you're thinking creatively about an interface. All these things are helpful, I think, when you show that work to somebody.
I want to thank Juan for just sitting down with us and sharing his experiences and his thoughts on coding. And I want to hear from you. What do you want me to ask in future interviews with coders, man? Please leave those questions in the comments. And like always, keep rocking, keep coding, do not give up. God bless, and we will see you in the next video.
Leave a like, share this video. Leave a like, share this video. Leave a like. Share this video. Leave a like. Share this video. Leave a like.